You might be making yourself miserable without even realizing it. Many midlife women feel unfulfilled and frustrated, but assume the answers outside of them. Something going on in the external world is making their life worse. They say, if I could just change my job, my relationship, my body, or my circumstances, then I'll be happy. But while those external things might be less than ideal, often the real problem isn't outside of us, it's inside. Most women don't realize they're actually sabotaging their own happiness every single day. Today, I'm going to show you 3 hidden ways you're doing it so you can stop making yourself miserable. First, let's talk about the I'll be happy when trap. This is the belief that happiness will come later after some milestone is reached. I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when I retire. I'll be happy when I have more money. This type of thinking keeps happiness on hold forever. So let me tell you what's going on. Your brain is wired to chase future rewards. But once you get there, it moves the goalpost. This is called hedonic adaptation. Your brain adjusts to new things, so they stop feeling special pretty quick. So suppose you get that new job, the new house, the body you wanted. Within weeks, you're back to feeling unfulfilled. So instead of waiting for something to change, you need to look for happiness in the now. Shifting from I'll be happy when to how can I create happiness today? Find small daily joys instead of waiting for big moments. Happiness is an inside job. If you don't learn to be happy now, you won't be happy later regardless of what you change or achieve in life. The present moment is the only time you can actually experience happiness. Stop postponing it. Be honest, have you ever caught yourself thinking, I'll be happy when? What's the one thing you've been waiting on before you let yourself enjoy life? Drop it in the comments, I'd love to know. Let's move on to the second way you've been keeping yourself stuck, and that's clinging to a past identity. Many midlife women feel stuck because they're holding on to who they used to be instead of embracing who they're becoming. You might say things like, I remember when I used to be thinner, more ambitious, more energetic. I miss my younger self. I wish I could go back to when life was exciting. Your brain romanticizes the past and makes it seem better than it actually was. We call this memory bias. You might have heard of something called a negativity bias, which means that you tend to focus on the negative, so you feel stress, embarrassment, or failure more intensely because your brain wants you to pay attention and learn from those negative experiences. However, over time, memory bias kicks in and your brain starts filtering out the details of the struggle while amplifying the good parts. It does this because constantly reliving the bad isn't helpful. So you might remember a past relationship as romantic and exciting, but forget about how unhappy or unfulfilled you actually felt. If you're not aware you do this, and everybody does, you'll end up comparing your present reality to an idealized version of the past. Clinging to the past keeps you from moving forward. If you're constantly looking back at who you used to be, you're not focusing on who you could become. Your energy stays tied to what was instead of what could be. This makes it harder to grow, change, or take risks. Your life, priorities, and values have changed, so the way you measure your worth needs to change too. Maybe you used to define yourself by your career, your body size, or what you did for others. If those things have changed, you might feel like you're less than because you're judging your current self by old, outdated standards. Instead of using your past self as a measuring stick, start asking yourself, who am I becoming, or what matters to me now? Accept that growth means change. You're not supposed to stay the same person forever. Your past self was great, but your future self can be even better. Now on to the third way that you self-sabotage, and that's fear of discomfort. When we decide we want to do something, it feels exciting. But when it actually comes to doing it, reality sets in and we resist change because it feels hard, scary, and uncertain. You say you want to reinvent yourself, but you don't want to struggle. You don't want to feel like a beginner again. You don't want to risk failure. So instead, you stay stuck. You don't do anything out of your comfort zone. You stay stuck in a life that no longer excites you just because it's familiar. So why do we do this? Well, the brain fears uncertainty more than it fears unhappiness. Discomfort signals uncertainty, and uncertainty used to mean that there was a risk. In the past, stepping into the unknown could literally be life-threatening, like wandering into an unfamiliar place without knowing if you'd find something dangerous there. Discomfort triggers the survival instinct, so your brain tells you to avoid it at all costs. The only way to break through is to push through the resistance. Reframe the discomfort as growth, not failure. Remind yourself, if you're uncomfortable, it means you're growing. The life you want is on the other side of that discomfort. If you always avoid discomfort, you'll never grow. Lean in instead of backing off. If you keep waiting for happiness, holding on to who you used to be and avoiding discomfort, then nothing changes. Happiness isn't something you chase, it's something you create. You don't need to go back to who you were. You need to step into who you're becoming. Discomfort isn't a stop sign, it's proof that you're growing. This is how you move forward, not by waiting for the right time, but by deciding to take the first step.